Welcome to my studio. Great that you are joining me in this video. In this video, I'm going to paint an egg. Now, who would have thought that the journey to become a master painter would start with painting just a simple egg? And it actually does. Now, I've seen teachers show students how to paint apples, pears, oranges, lemons are very popular, but an egg, I don't think I've seen that before. And yet my journey to become a master will actually start with painting this egg. Now, if you want to know why I want to become a master at painting and how that all came to pass, then I would say check out the previous video. But in this video, my journey will actually start. And I can talk a lot about eggs probably. Well, can I? Yeah, there's a lot to say about eggs and about painting eggs, but I think it's better to start painting. I'm going to paint an egg. That is one of the exercises from the fundamentals of the Tisch Academy. Now, if you know Andrew Tischler, you already see right away that I have the wrong paints here. He's painting with oil paint. I'm gonna paint with matte flow acrylics. And that's why I need some extras, some mediums to get these going. See if I can imitate oil a little bit. I like to paint with acrylics. Now in this exercise I'm only allowed to use two colors, ultramarine blue and burnt umber, and some white. The egg is not going to be in color, but it's going to be in black, not black and white, monochrome, just some shades, some gray shades. Now to help me mimic oil paint, I've got a few things here. I can use a just regular retarder or a gel retarder, and those should help me to mix up the paint and get them flow a little bit better than they do normally as acrylics and don't dry as quickly. Now today I'm only going to use the gel retarder and see how that works and see if I can mix that in with the paint and paint this egg and follow Andrew along. Well, let's get started then. Get all these paints out of the way. I already did a sketch and the rest will be sped up because this is going to take a long time to paint this. I think I painted about an hour, something like that. So first I'm going to mix up my paints and I'm going to try to get the right colors for the background. Now, when I painted, everything looked good, but when I looked back in the editing, I noticed that everything is shimmering and shining. The paint, I need to do something about this. I'm not going to record this video again, so I'm going to keep on painting, but I need to do something to get rid of all that shimmering and the wet gel. The gel reacts with the paint and it has a kind of a shine, a shimmer on it, which the camera picks up, and I didn't notice that till afterwards. Now I'm doing the oil fundamentals. Now those fundamentals don't start with painting this egg. This is an exercise further along already. First of all, he's explaining everything about the brushes, the mediums he's using, how he does his canvas, he's painting on board, how he creates that. And of course color, there's a lot of color theory, but I haven't filmed that. I decided to start my first film in this series of trying to become a master painter with this egg. And the point of this exercise was to mix the grays with only two colors and the help of the white to get it lighter, of course, and to get the right tones in the egg to make it convincing. And the other point was to get used to the brushes and blending with oil paint, and that's why I need this medium. And so far it was working really well. I was able to blend all my colors and the paint stayed wet for the whole session. Even after the session, when I stopped, I could have gone back and painted back in again, and the gel really worked well. And what I did was I mixed in the gel right away with the paint and sometimes pick up a little bit extra gel to get it flowing again. And this process worked very well. And the exercise, surprisingly, was very good. Learning how to mix all these different values with just these two paints and the help of that white to get the right values, get some dark values, light values, the highlights, the shadows. And surprisingly, it was a great exercise to do. Now, I admit my egg didn't turn out completely like an egg, but it looked more like kind of a marble stone because of the shape. But hey, it worked for me. Now, when dry, these matte acrylics paint really dry matte, and it worked really well in the blending. Now the paint on my palette is still wet while this is all dried. I could actually use some of these paints still again because they're really wet. Now the next thing I of course need to do is to compare my egg to the one Andrew painted. And therefore I've printed his egg, the one I took a screenshot and printed that to compare it to my egg. Now his shape is definitely more egg than mine, but I think the blending, the highlights and everything worked well, and I'm surprised how close I got to his egg. Now there's differences of course. Obviously the shape is a difference and the tones are a bit different. His are quite a bit darker than mine, so I could have done that a lot darker. That's probably for a next exercise. And maybe his highlight is a little bit more obvious than mine, so I gotta work on those darker tones. I didn't go dark enough with this exercise, but I've got another one, so I can try again to see if I can get closer to his. But overall I'm pretty happy with how the blending worked out, how the shading worked out, and how pretty close it looks with these paints. So for the next one I can try again to get perhaps a little bit darker than what I've done now, a bit too light. But I enjoyed the exercise, also working with the filbert brushing, learning how to blend and how to create these nice transitions, and that worked really well, getting these smooth transitions from darker to lighter, and that gel retarder really helped a lot. It flows, it helps to blend, and it stays wet long enough so that if you add another color, that you can blend it in really nicely. And that's it for this exercise. Learning to determine values using a filbert brush and mixing in these paints to get smooth transitions was a great exercise.